Excuse me, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Saturday, October 22nd, 17:05 in the afternoon, Eastern Time. My son just left. We had a very nice day together, which is a massive treat for me. I went down to watch my grandson play his little soccer / football game here this morning. It was 9:30. I got there, and the thing sort of started about 10. And, basically, they sort of jumped around and carried around, till 11. And then there was supposed to be another game at 1. It was a makeup game, but they canceled that, so that's it for the season. Thomas was going to come up and did come up here later on, as you'll see. And we had a good time. We talked. He left here just, probably about 20 minutes ago. But no, well, it's a massive treat for me to see him and interact with him. And he gave me some decent advice about some of the problems I've been having or am having, which I'll certainly consider very seriously. Hang on a minute. Sorry about that. I've been snotting around all day, but I'm not sick. It's just, that's just what it is. So enjoy these things. I think I'm going to put them up in 2 pieces. Okay, so we do have a good time together. So I'll say bye-bye, YouTubers.
So we get off the plane. Of course, then we have to go to fucking baggage claim because Kelly, of course, had to check her damn bag. And then I got to take a whiz. So they're all standing around out in the airport hallway there on the way out to where the taxi cabs are and stuff. And I run into the restroom to take a whiz, and I come back out. And in that time, somebody of Middle Eastern descent,
yes,
comes up, and he goes, "Where are you going? Where are you going? You go to the city? You go to the city?
One of our
I take you. Flat rate, flat rate.
Neighbors from the Levant.
Flat rate, $97.
$97?
And he's flashing this calculator on his phone to us and all this stuff.
What's the standard cab fare for?
I'm getting there. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
So $97, and I say to myself,
I'm jumping ahead.
I say to myself, that seems high, but I don't know. I've never been to New York. You're welcome to one of those beverages.
Oh, thank you.
I've never been to New York. I don't know. So it would be 97 plus 16 each for the tolls. And I just think, I'm thinking
16 each?
97 plus 16 each for the tolls.
So you have 4, so plus $64 for the toll?
But yeah.
What a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I'm just kind of catching the tail end of this. Amy and Duffy have been to New York numerous times, so I'm relying on their experience.
Were they happy with this?
Well, then the guy says, "No, regular taxi isn't. I got my minivan. Regular taxi won't fit you. We won't be able to take all 4 of you."
Horse shit. Those taxis in New York now are like vans.
Yeah. So without really thinking about it, and of course we to be fair, we gave Amy basically endless shit about this for the rest of the weekend.
Oh well.
Amy says, "Well, yeah, all right. He's probably right. I guess we won't all fit into one taxi." So off we go. Poof, to this.
A minivan?
It's a minivan.
Really?
Yeah.
A minivan?
That's what he said. That's what it was.
A minivan?
Yeah. Yeah, like one of these...
Well, there's a mentality that goes with minivans. It's called the minivan mentality.
Well, apparently this guy's mentality is I'm going to go look for a bunch of desperate-looking Americans and I'm going to fuck them out of about $100 extra.
Oh, that's called the Levantine mindset.
Yeah, well, anyway, so this guy's like, oh, okay, so I'm thinking, all right, well, this guy must be just like an Uber driver.
That's not racist, guys. That's just fact.
And so we get in this guy's van, and we load everything up. It's very friendly. And so then we're driving into the city from JFK. Well, no, this guy at least he sort of mostly 95% of the time obeyed all the regular rules and laws of traffic.
Well, that's about all you can do.
Everybody else, however, was still terrifying.
What's New York?
Yeah.
City.
So that was scary. So then we finally get there, and I forget how this magic number was calculated. But the guy says, "Oh, okay." So and I knew we'd made a mistake when I.
Well, at least you didn't keep your fucking luggage, because a lot of these guys will run off with your luggage.
Yeah. No. Well, the guy was very friendly.
Yeah, but a lot of times they'll just you get out and he just tears off all your bags.
Well, I knew we'd made a mistake when we're about right there, and I said, "So take credit card." No, cash only. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So, the $1.50, $2 surcharge for your credit card.
So then,
if they even take it.
We get there, and Kelly's like, all right, well, what do we owe? He's like, okay, 132. So then Kelly tips the motherfucker $20. So, so we get out.
He got a tip?
Kelly, because Kelly just paid the guy cash. So she gave him 150, so he got an $18 tip. And I was like, and so we get there and we're like, yeah, and then Duffy and Amy both immediately, we all were like completely realized, we're like, yeah, we just got fucked. We just got completely screwed.
No kidding.
And
even I, a rube from.
And I'm just kind of looking at you guys and like, and I look at Amy, I'm like, I thought you said you guys understood about New York City. She's like, I know, right? All that stuff.
Only use licensed cabs.
Right, well, yeah. This guy wasn't even an Uber driver. He was just some dude.
Well, I thought, well, no, it was just some guy showed up.
Just some
some
guy
hoping for a chance.
Oh no, this is clearly like this is what this guy does on his nights off.
Oh
right?
hell, he doesn't have to score, but twice a day, once. You know?
Yeah. Son of a bitch. So then, anyway, on the way back, so the answer to your question is there is YouTubers. If you happen to be in New York City and you want to go to JFK, and all the legitimate yellow, New York taxis have it right on there. It says to JFK flat rate. Yeah. It was a $65 flat rate.
I've heard 50, but I haven't heard a recent one for about 5 years.
Yeah, so $65 flat rate for all four of us to get out to JFK. Now, what they don't tell you, of course, is that you're taking your life. I mean, oh my God. So this guy, apparently all markings on the road surface, lane markers, things like it, these were merely suggestions, perhaps.
Advisory matter.
Like, perhaps. So we drove most of the way there with the lane marker roughly in the center of the car. And every now and again, he'd drift back over into the lane, and then he'd drift out, he'd drift back over into the lane, and then, he would change, this guy changed lanes, and I'm pretty sure never once actually looked.
Oh, I think signaling.
Oh, no. No. I mean, if he was signaling, so just drifting. Now, the other three are in the back seat. So I get stuck in shotgun. So I got a front row view, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, like every time.
I hope you had your belt on.
Fuck yeah, I had my belt on. It's drifting. People are honking. People drive by. They're flipping this guy off, and I'm looking at this guy.
Oh, it's New York. I imagine that happens all the time.
I look at this guy.
That's just normal.
And he's just oblivious. So then we go to make change. We missed at one point. There was, and I saw this because I'm looking in the mirror. And I'm like, sir, there's a man there. There's a guy there. He just starts drifting right over into the lane to change lanes. So I'm sure there's a guy there. There's a man there. There's somebody. There's a car there. There's a car there. This guy lays on his horn and goes, drifts back to the left. Meanwhile, this BMW guy, his hands out the window and I'm there and I'm watching this close. this close.
Oh, that's considerable gap compared to what I had
at
to
high
deal with.
speed. Oh my god.
That's a luxury distance compared to what I was.
I mean, I needed to wipe my pants and my ass when we got to the airport because I mean it was.
I only almost ever took a shit once while I was over there. While I was driving. Only once. Almost.
And apparently, driving in the city, which I would never do. I can't imagine why anybody would ever want to drive in that. Well, first of all, you don't need to. Because you can either walk or take a subway, or if you really have to, take a cab anywhere you need to go. Like I would never, short of just wanting to get out of Dodge for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people there, rent cars if they want to go out of town.
And apparently, parking ordinances and again, even lanes are maybe perhaps just loose guidelines for people. I mean, there were cabbies that would there would be a 4-lane one-way road, and there were cabbies that would turn it into a 6-lane, and you're like, oh, this ought to be interesting, and and there's and meanwhile there's some poor little Asian woman with her 4-year-old walking across the street, and these cabbies are honking at her, and I'm like, this is insane. I mean, this was insane, and apparently. There are, I saw probably hundreds of New York traffic police with specifically the traffic written on their patches on their arm or written on their car, who apparently don't actually do any traffic enforcement because there is no one following. This was like what I imagine driving in rural. Vietnam would be like. Like if you visited Ho Chi Minh City on a busy Saturday.
That would be Saigon.
Saigon.
Yeah. That's its real name.
Yes, I know. Or like Scott's description of driving in Kiev. Where basically there are no traffic laws, and and when the cops stop you, it's basically you just bribe them and let you go. Right?
It's time to give a bribe. Yeah.
So driving in New York. Wow.
We can make this right.
Well, did I tell you that happened to him, right?
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Oh yeah, they were. Fortunately, his sister Anne and her husband live in Kiev. Yeah. So.
Oh, is that of the sabotage?
Yeah, it's not sabotage anymore. It's a new guy.
She's found a new man.
Oh, Sava's long gone.
Oh, Sava's gone.
They got divorced ages ago, so she's married now to this guy named.
Can we have fun with that, or is it just a standard name?
It's a standard name, but I can't remember what it is. But anyway, so they knew, so they were, but yeah, they got pulled over several times, and so they had just had a bundle of cash with them, and you just bribe the cops, and then they just let you go.
Yeah.
You looked like your taillight was out. Let me have a look at it. Yeah. Oh, you missed your turn back there.
It's something like that horse shit. Yeah. A light the world over. Well, maybe not so much here, but sometimes here. At least not overtly here. Here they just don't like you. They'll just beat they'll just beat the crap out of you.
Just shoot you. Yeah. At least I tell you though, interesting.
And make no fast moves around a cop during a traffic stop.
Well, no, yeah, oh yeah. But other than the traffic. It's fascinating. Fascinating city. I wouldn't want to live there. Too much humanity. Too much humanity, but too much that can go wrong. But it's an interesting city.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I've seen lots of things I wouldn't want to be involved with for more than a few hours that are very interesting.
I wanted to get you a trinket. We walked into this store called Obscura, which was basically a collection of odd, strange, weird, taxidermy, vintage medical photos, stuffed ferrets. Just odd. But anyway, they had this whole bin full. An entire bin, and you just had to rummage through it, full of these old vintage, medical like textbook photos of like just the strangest diseases and
Oh,
shit.
I've got tons of that stuff. I've got several books with that stuff in it.
Yeah.
And in fact, your mother gave me one many years ago now. And then John Deach sat up here and basically read the entire thing to me one night. I've already looked at this, John. I mean, I'm familiar with the contents. This sort of standard monsters and grotesqueries. That's standard medical history.
Well,
Anybody who's at all just casually interested, encounters this stuff, and you look at it and say, okay, fine.
Well, the store, I got talking with one of the owners, and he's like, yeah, and I looked around the store, and they had a lot of just kind of this vintage, old school, antique medical. He's like, yeah, we actually specialize in, old medical paraphernalia. They had a, it was like $500. They had an old, like, I don't know from what year, but like vintage sort of hand-pumped, like, transfusion device.
Oh, yeah.
Like these rubber hoses and, like, cloth filters that you would,
Yeah, I mean, the details of how transfusion technique developed, sort of once they kind of figured out about basic, raw, ABO typing.
Right.
Let alone RH stuff,
right.
But just ABO typing.
Right.
How they, and this was before you really had, widely available sterile stuff. I mean, it's amazing how many bacteria the human body can filter out. When they're given intravenously.
Right.
I mean, it's astonishing. I mean, you'd think that people wouldn't have a heart valve left. You'd think all the bacteria sit on the leaflets and just munch away. And quite often they do eventually, but you can get away with a lot of this stuff. I mean, these heroin guys will dissolve their drug in spit.
Oh yeah.
And now they heat it up in a spoon, so that does kill a certain amount of that stuff. But come on, and it's like, and I mean, you've got to properly autoclave or of course, autoclave's done at high pressure.
Right.
If you're just going to boil something in water, I mean, to achieve the same effect of an autoclave, you almost have to go a good 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah. And that's at 212 Fahrenheit.
Right.
That's at sea level. And of course, basically in the mountains, you can't get shit sterile at all.
Because it only
well, I mean, if you can get it over 160 degrees Fahrenheit, that's pasteurization.
That's better than nothing.
That buys you a lot of space. But yeah.
It was interesting. They had all kinds of stuff. Anyway.
Well, I've never. But I did realize there was a standard New York City fare to Kennedy Airport.
So 65. Well, it's actually.
Or as I called it for a long time after 1963, Idlewild. Idlewild. That was its original name. Before they started naming everything after Kennedy.
Okay.
That's what it was called. Far more interesting name than Kennedy.
What are your thoughts on John Glenn Columbus International?
Well, I've always had a lot of time for John Glenn. His problem was he fell in with a bad crowd when he got in the Senate. That happens. You go to a new place. Somebody takes you under their wing. Turns out to be a bad crowd. I think that's what happened to John Glenn.
Much like a Pakistani minivan driver in New York City. Takes you under their wing. Turns out to be a bad crowd.
I can't believe you guys fell for that. I mean, listen, I am no sophisticate, but even I would have stayed, miles away from that.
So, once you're in the car, you're kind of screwed.
Oh no, you're in. I mean, you're on the way. I mean, you're gone.
And
you're trapped.
It occurred to me.
Word for that's trapped.
It occurred to me that because we made sure to get out and get our bags before we paid him. It occurred to me that I could have just said, "Here, Kelly, give me the cash," and I could have just said, "Here's here's $80. This is all you're getting.
Yeah.
Like, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
He's operating an illegal taxi
right. Yeah.
and there's 4 of us and
yeah.
1 of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have said, here's $80. Have a great night.
Or you could just said, fuck you.
Or I could have just said,
once you got your bags and said, fuck you, go away.
Right. But,
or I'm going to call the cops.
But to be fair, the guy gave us a ride, so,
Fair.
Yeah. No, but I could have paid him.
Well,
if
he had offered to treat you fairly, that would be different.
Right. Well, yeah.
But that would be a different matter. But he didn't offer to treat you fairly at all. Now, Now, admittedly, he did sort of openly contract with you for an exorbitant rate to which you agreed.
Right.
But come on.
Yeah. Well, live and learn. Now I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I know.
Well, as we get older, education gets more expensive.
Well, and as Amy said, when we were done, she's like, well, listen, you can't make, everyone gets taken by someone on their first trip to New York. At least we got ours out of the way early.
Yeah.
So we're done. And indeed, that was the rest of the time we were there. We knew perfectly well,
Good.
what was, but so I didn't get pickpocketed,
Well, no, if you carry your thing in your front pocket, well then,
Well, I took everything out of the wallet that I want, actually I carried multiple. That way if they got something, at least I had.
Did you carry anything around your neck?
I didn't, no. So, you know what I found?
Yeah.
I found the LL Bean, sort of the fold-up passport cash holder.
That's the one I'm talking about.
That I wore around my neck when you and I went.
That's the one I'm talking about.
I had lost it. I had no idea where it had gone. So, but I was cleaning out a bunch of junk in my office, and sure enough, there it was.
I used it on the way going. I mean, I carried my stuff on the plane. I was on the plane going over, but after that, I basically didn't.
Right.
I think the first day or two I drove around with it, wearing it, but.
Well, there's a difference. I mean, my
passport. I always kept my passport in my pocket.
Well, there's a difference between you sort of walking around, sort of a relatively sparsely populated area, and walking around downtown Manhattan where you've got pickpockets. But it's an interesting experience. I mean, it's something to check off the list. I've never been there, and I don't.
I have no plans ever to go there.
I mean, it was.
I feel about New York now. Admittedly, now I have been in Midtown before in 1971 for about 3 hours. So it wasn't like I'm making that statement just blank out of the blue, by watching YouTube videos.
Right.
But I feel about it the same way I feel about Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. Well, I have no.
I mean, you couldn't pay me to go to either city.
I have no desire to ever go to Los Angeles. I mean, the September 11th museum was profound. It was interesting.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, I still think that they ought to show those planes flying into the towers about 11 o'clock every night on TV. Just show those things as a standard.
Yeah.
Just to remind people what all's out there and what it's all about.
We went to the Frick art.
Oh, really?
Great. That probably.
Oh, great.
That and the September 11th museum were definitely the highlights of there. So, and it was.
Did you have to make an appointment to get into the Frick?
They have standard hours.
Okay.
It's $22 a head.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard great things about it.
Well, I tell you right now, it was absolutely worth the $22. He has they have a lot of stuff, but there's a Vermeer in there.
Oh yeah,
that I have seen in art books and things like that.
Actually, lay your eyes on it.
And the cool thing about it is there's no. There's
no barriers. You're right there. You're right there.
There's no ropes. And it's basic. I mean, it's a very, very large house, but it's a house. It's his house.
Well, in fact, he stipulated that the paintings had to stay exactly as he had them hung on his walls.
And they let you walk.
Yeah.
As long as you don't touch them,
Yeah.
they let you walk right up on.
I'll tell you, man. I mean, that almost might be worth a trip to New York to see that.
Well, I tell you right now. I mean, like if I had to pick the favorite thing I did, the best, coolest thing was the trip to the Frick, and the whole trip to the Frick would have been absolutely worth it just to see the. Well, there were 2 Vermeers. They had 3. One of them I was like. But 2 of them were great, and one of them was the one that I didn't even realize, I didn't know he had it. I mean, I've seen it in art books. But it's the one where there's like this Dutch soldier is having this conversation with this young lass, like at a table. But the light is just spilling in through this this window.
Yeah, I mean, next to Caravaggio, Vermeer handles the light.
Yeah.
Now, I always understood that particular painting was really entitled, "Hey, honey, you want to go with me to the frat?"
I don't know.
Because then you're going to go, I have to say,
that's terrible.
The frat.
It's terrible. You're disqualified. I award you no points. May God have mercy.
I get bonus points.
Oh God, that's terrible.
Well, you had to have seen that one coming.
So there's
Scott Merrill would have beat me to it. You know damn well he would have.
Pete would have beaten you to it. But and there's only 2 American artists in the entire collection. The rest are all these European guys.
Which one? I
can't remember their names. I took notes.
Is the guy from Philadelphia? Tom Seaton, is he one of them?
I think he's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a pair of paintings that he has. It's by another American. Maybe that's him. Where it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, so it's one of them is simply called Black and Gold. And the entire freaking painting, the entire thing is almost jet black.
That one, the guy that did that one, Whistler, was it?
It's Whistler.
Yeah,
it's Whistler. That's who's. Yeah. And then emerging from this jet black sort of darkness is this man in this suit, this figure, kind of walking, sort of almost as if he's walking into this golden light. But the shadows are sort of swallowing him up, but then this golden light starts to illuminate, and and like if you look at it the right way, it's almost as if this guy is walking out of this hole in the wall.
Well, Whistler's really underappreciated for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's known for his, Whistler's mother. I think it's called Study in Black and Gray #4.
Yeah,
and yet, and that's in London, I think.
Yeah,
but National Gallery.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It's in Washington D.C. in the National Gallery.
I'm almost positive it's Whistler. I mean, I could look it up,
but that sounds like sounds like something. And then he didn't do that many.
Well, and then what else they have? And then they have I can't remember who the other guy is, but the only other American artist in there was. I'd have to look it up, but it was because it was one of the very first presidential, which I didn't even know existed, but one of the very first sort of presidential portraits of Washington. It's not the big tall one, but it was just like almost like a bust, and I didn't even realize that there were others.
Oh yeah. The
I guess there's like 13 or 17.
The Gilbert Stewart one is the one that everybody sees, but no, there were and better renditions too.
Well, and it was great. It was great. Yeah, and they just let you get right up on the. Now there's like a guard in every room, and then I was like, talk about a sweet gig. Like basically you get to stand around, look at amazing art all day, and all you basically got to do is tell people stop taking pictures, don't touch.
Yeah.
I
think another good gig would be one of these vergers at let's use the term properly, because a verger actually is one of these guys more like a prior centaur in a cathedral, but the vergers are like these cross between docamps and
right.
And they wear the little red robes and walk around the
Yeah.
cathedrals, you know,
Yeah.
and they
Sort
tell
of a
people
hybrid.
put your cell phone away, and,
Right.
and you know we don't allow in Durham they don't allow any pictures. Period.
Yeah.
In Ripon they just tell you to go buy a photography permit, which is nice. You know, it helps only £3.
So it's an extra way to make it a little.
But yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing I thought. Gosh, you know,
I could do that.
I wouldn't mind doing that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, because you come up to this magnificent place of worship every day. You know, I mean, they're guys that have been doing that for over 40 years.
Yeah, the Frick was interesting. That was cool.
And the other one was similar in terms of the setup. I know they've moved it because they had a big fight over the will, and they thought the collection was not being shown properly, and the house was getting into a bad area of town. It was the Barnes in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Yeah. And then there was the one.
Was he one of those industrialist dudes as well?
No, he was just a rich guy.
Okay.
And then there's the one that was burglarized in Boston. I can't remember the name of that museum. The Gardner.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
And those paintings have never been found.
Yeah, there's a movie.
Yeah.
There's one of these like made for TV movie things about or maybe it's a documentary.
And that's in the Back Bay. I've walked by that. I didn't go in.
I've never been to Boston either. I need to.
Well, I'll tell you, Boston is where you want to go.
Well, I want to go to Boston.
Because first of all, there's all the historical stuff you can do.
Right.
You basically just write the whole trip off for continuing educational stuff. Both, as a miscellaneous employee expense, and then you get hours.
Right. Yeah.
You must see the Constitution.
Oh, absolutely.
If you see nothing else in Boston, you must see the USS Constitution. Now, I don't know if they're undergoing one of its sort of periodic.
They don't. It's not open all the time. Yeah. It's from what I understand is they open it.
Well, it's a commissioned warship.
Yeah. It still is.
Yes, it is.
Every now and again, they take it out for a cruise.
They have anti-submarine nets around it.
Yeah, I would too.
People on watch 24 hours a day.
No, it's manned. Yeah, I mean it's manned. They got
That's sort of considered a terminal, kind of a terminal command for a guy that's kind of doing his 20 years now.
Yeah, they interviewed. Yeah. So this must have been a couple of years.
It's usually a lieutenant commander.
But the CBS Sunday Morning, used to be with Charles Ogden, he retired. But so anyway, they about 2 or 3 years ago.
Charles Corral.
Charles Corral's
had a turd in his mouth the whole time.
But they did an interview with so they visited the Constitution. They did an interview with the commander of the Constitution. So he talked about he's like we run a regular watch schedule. He's like we do battle station drills. And he's like the whole bit.
Oh, yeah.
And so apparently it's also primarily they use it as well as sort of a little training ground for young officers. It's kind of a privilege to go and train there for a little while. Yeah, so that's fascinating.
That's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen and been on and ever. And that was after my oral exam in September of 1980.
Oral exam?
Anesthesia board exam.
Yeah.
Oral anesthesia board exam in Boston.
Oh, it was in Boston? Why was it in Boston?
Because that's where it was.
Oh. Yeah. They don't just do them everywhere?
No. Oh. Maybe about 3 cities.
So that was for your Ohio...
No, that was for the American Board of Anesthesiology.
Oh, the American Board. Okay.
That's my specialty board. Right. Far easier than the written, but you have to take the orals 2 years after the written.
Oh.
I had a good experience in my orals. It must have done because I passed.
Yeah.
Because doesn't bet about. At that stage of the game, 65% of the people pass first time through.
Really?
Yeah. When they say a specialty board exam is tough, the toughest written examination I ever took was my anesthesiology written board. I vowed I'd never take another written test after that. Ever.
Is that why being board certified is such a big deal?
Yes,
for people?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a trivial thing.
Yeah.
You know, this is not a gimme.
Yeah.
None of this stuff's a gimme. The state licenses aren't a gimme, but the specialty boards are not gimmies by any stretch of the imagination. You have to have read. You have to have done it. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to think on your feet. You know, it's like life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so I went. So after that, I rewarded myself by walking across the Charles River to see the USS Constitution.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And then I rewarded myself by a trip to Faneuil Hall to eat some of the best seafood I've ever had. And then I rewarded myself with a very terrifying cab trip to Logan Airport. and then I rewarded myself, but with a plane ride home, next to a window that was hissing audibly on a DC-9, and I'm saying to myself, this aircraft has a pressure leak, and it's going out right next to me.
Well,
but I treated that with 6 black labels that I had in my bag.
Your bag.
My
Nice.
bag.
You can take comfort in the fact in knowing that if the window failed,
So by the time we got to Philadelphia, I was just fine.
faced. Well, you can take comfort in the fact that if the window failed, you'd be the first one out.
Can you imagine getting on an aircraft today with 6 glass bottles of beer?
Glass bottles of beer?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I was assuming they were cans.
Guess where I left them?
Right there under the seat.
Right there in the seat back in front of me, right next to the puke bag.
Well, I must have been crammed full, fairly full there.
Well, they were the short, stubby 12-ounce
I
bottles.
remember the stubbies.
Yeah.
You can still find them every now and again. You can find the stubbies. You can buy them. I could bottle my beer in stubbies if I wanted.
And then it was Philadelphia to Columbus, and it was a beautiful night. And the guy said, the guy was, around Pittsburgh, he said, "Oh, Pittsburgh, we were like 30,000 feet or whatever." But it's such a beautiful night. He says, "I've decided to do the rest of this trip VFR." He says, "So we're going to go down to 8,000 feet and fly across Ohio and land in Columbus." You could see everything, and this beautiful full moonlight, and you can see the shadows being cast by the silos on the farm.
Oh,
and
that's
everything.
great. Yeah.
And right straight. We're just going to go straight into Columbus. They're not going to make us do any patterns or circling. We're just going to fly right in.
It was interesting on the way to New York. I don't think we ever got above 10,000 feet.
Really, ours was about 24,000 on the way back.
Well, on the way back, we did most of it at 26,000.
Yeah.
And then he told us, he's like, "Okay, I'm going to start my descent now." But I mean, I'm sure it's a fuel thing or a traffic pattern thing. Yeah. But it was odd that on the way there, and I tell you, on the way there, this guy hauled ass because we'd been delayed.
We've had a tailwind too. You could have a tailwind.
Well. He flat out said, he's like, "Folks, I'm going to try to make up some time for it." Like how I love ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to apologize for the delay. Sometimes we have no control over when the president decides to fly into an airport. I'm going to go ahead and try to make up some time. So sit back, relax. I'm going to have you in New York as soon as I can. Boom! This guy, he hauled ass because our flight was delayed by about 40 minutes. Yeah. He made up 20 minutes of time. Yeah. So we were only arriving in New York. Actually, I think we arrived, maybe 25 minutes late. So this guy must have flown just like a bad. Maybe that's why he didn't go up so high, because he wanted to spend the fuel for something else.
They can actually burn more fuel lower down.
Interesting.
But it's interesting. Same thing. When we got diverted to Philadelphia on the way over, we were only about 45 minutes late from the original arrival time.
Huh.
Yeah. We were, our ground speed was 630 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, our true airspeed. They kept. They had one of those little things you could look at the screen on.
But even back in the 1980s.
No, this was now.
Oh, you mean on this
A330. Our airspeed was like 590.
Yeah.
No, they're about 100
Yeah.
miles an hour faster than the 60 Boeing 767s. Not as comfortable.
Yeah.
But they're faster.
Yeah.
And coming back, you could saw a couple of them out the side window, and you can tell that's an Airbus because you can tell by the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just. And this is going, this is going east. I mean, this is going westbound. So you're in a headwind.
Yeah.
We're both going in a headwind. So,
well, these little, I forget that it was like a E something.
Well, you had a Canadian, you had a Bombardier.
E something 900. These things were fast. I mean, it was
the Embraers were nice,
and it was
They got to be really fun to fly for these guys.
I imagine it's got to be. The
Embraer certainly would have been. I got to kill this. This is driving me nuts. I'll miss it, of course. I always do. But we'll give it a shot. Oh, I actually got it. Death from the side.
Death from above.
Death from above.
Death by Katanga.
Death by Katanga. Katanga.
Death by Wiki Wacky Wiki. It's the same joke. Just
just
instead of Katanga, it's Wiki Wacky Wiki.
It's different.
Yeah.
Death by Katanga.
Death by Katanga.
Katanga.
Oh.
I think Donald Trump should tell that joke in his next campaign rally.
Oh God!
It would pretty much touch. It would get it certainly 2 or 3 of the, as we say, groups that get upset and make a lot of noise. Going.
I'll take Katanga.
Katanga. Yeah.
The chief says, "Death
by Katanga."
Oh,
great beach house joke.
Great joke. Great joke.
Oh. Well, who actually won that soccer game this morning?
I think for our side it was 0-0.
Oh, was it a tie?
Yeah, it was tie.
Oh, well, then that's considered as a classic struggle.
It's a classic. Such a boring game.
Well, when I was over there, it's like this guy had been, I don't know, he'd been taking bribes for moving players or something, and that's all you heard about. I mean, you wouldn't think anything else was going over in Great Britain when you're over there. So this soccer guy made some sort of transgression. Like who the fuck cares? It's like
Well, it's like these.
I'm sorry, football.
I was listening. I forget who I was listening to on the radio, but it was one of these radio shows the other morning. I'm driving into work, and they got talking about this. Of course, the punter for Ohio State is this Australian dude.
Oh, really?
He's like 27 years old.
All right.
But
go mate.
But he's one of these. Well, that's the thing. He was one of these like rugby players that they brought in.
There you go.
Be this kid.
Oh, I love it. A ringer.
And then they had one of these guys. They said, the guy. It was like I forget his name. It was the sports guy, the expert that they were talking with.
Oh.
He's like, listen. He's like, Australia is ripe. He's like, listen. First of all, they play rugby. They play something called like union rugby, which is
they have rugby league, rugby union,
different rules.
Yeah.
Then they play Australian rules.
And they have Australian rules football.
They're crazy about American football down there. He's like, they play like 5 versions of basically the same game down there. Yeah. He's like, and all of these guys can kick the out of the ball.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm surprised every
Plus-
team doesn't have an
plus-
Australian punter.
Plus, they, a lot of these guys, I'm surprised they even agreed to wear pads in the United States. Because that's considered being a real pussy.
I think a lot of these guys
pussy over down in
A lot
Australia.
of these guys are like, pads? I don't need no fucking pads.
I don't need no pads.
Give me a Foster's. Give me a Foster's in a bowl. I'll kick the shit out of it.
Just, give me my torn gym shorts.
Yeah.
And off we go.
Yeah. Give me a pair of trainers and some shorts. Throw some shrimp on the body.
Well, you don't need any damn trainers.
Trainers!
You don't need crap on your feet. Just go.
Kick it barefoot. I kick it barefoot.
And now, watch out for the second video in this series.